Got it. So I will give you a little bit of a macro perspective on this.
Right.
The way you come up with product ideas and way you deliver the product, you can just follow a blueprint. But more often than not, if you want to like really stand out from the crowd, and I would say that when Ritesh said that he has been following me for a long time online, and when he thinks about okay digital marketing, digital Deepak as a brand comes to mind, right? So that kind of branding sometimes will take years, and if you have to think about what is the core component that powers that brand, is that there is a very deep understanding of what is the customer pain points and who the customer is. And that always predominantly comes from starting to build a community, right? When you are thinking about communities, communities not necessarily is like a Facebook group or WhatsApp group or a, you know, whatever group, LinkedIn groups you have. But rather, it's more like a one-sided communication where you have one person leading the crowd in terms of thoughts and sharing and everything, and the crowd's involvement is like total limited in terms of just block comments or replies to whatever one person is saying, right? So initially, I would say when I got started, I knew that okay, I could sell digital marketing courses, and I started with that assumption. When you're starting with an assumption and going into a market, and you already might be into a market, you might have sunk a lot of cost into it, and it would make the best sense to kind of take up the same thing and try to do like more focused approach on it. So your career somehow has been shaped of becoming a lawyer, and right now, having tried different things, having thrown different things on the wall, you have seen that some things are working. Now, if you throw enough things on the wall, there'll always be something that is working. But from there, if you want to get to the 10x level from there, randomly throwing things on the wall becomes a little bit more time consuming, and we don't have that much time. Like if we live on average for 300 years, maybe 100 years, we can just sit and build our startup before it becomes a big business. Time being such a huge leverage, I've always dreamed of it. Maybe the future technology might help us extend our lifespans. I don't know. But considering that apart, what I started realizing was that, hey, I cannot spend so much time um, trying out different things and seeing what works. And I can only do that if I have a deeper understanding of what my customer pain points are. So when I started with a bunch of courses, started selling and everything, even before I sold my first course, it was my Facebook community that I had. Like, if you keep, like, if you look at my Facebook group and my YouTube channel, I will be constantly running polls because I'm trying to like see the pulse of the market. Like, what do people think? For example, slowly we started shifting our entire focus on digital marketing for freelancing and agency, right? And for consultants and who are in the service industry primarily, not for SaaS products or any other product or manufacturing industry or anything like that. So our niche kind of got like, really refined because of the community activity that I have always been doing. And you should be stalking your customers. It's like literally creepy, but there is no other way. This is an occupational hazard that you have to go and click each and every profile of your community members if they are on Facebook and go through their feed, try to understand their psyches, try to understand where they are coming from. So
That's
having done
literally,
that
by the
long
way,
enough,
DD,
huh?
that's literally the exercise that I have added in the market research niche. Literally go to everybody's profile, see what they're posting.
Ah, fantastic, fantastic. So yeah, Jayant is as much creep as I am when it comes to marketing. Hmm. Yeah, so we are very bad at it. Marketers are all like that. Cool. Yeah, so where was I? Completely lost my train of thought.
Oh, so sorry. You
Yes,
mentioned that you go to
understanding
different.
communities. Hmm. What were you saying, Jayant?
Yeah, I mentioned online communities going to different profiles and all that.
Yes, yes, going to profiles and understanding their psyche, sometimes talking to them. And I have spent an enormous amount of effort going to different cities and actually creating meetups. And I would charge like 100 rupees for a meetup, get like a co working space, get some 30, 40 people. and really see for the flesh and blood humans they are, like, where they are coming from and everything. It's a naturally uncomfortable thing to do, especially when the intention is not just to connect with people because I'm an introvert. I mean, like, leave me alone. You might have seen the recent blog post, right? So it's extremely energy draining for me to like meet a bunch of people, talk to them, especially when they are strangers, right? Even for friends, it's like fine. Even with friends, I don't like talk much. I need like 2 days to recover from it, but I did that. I went to Delhi, I went to Kolkata, I went to Hyderabad, I went to Aurangabad. And Aurangabad, like, it was such a stark difference between, how people are in the city and how people are in a tier 2 city. They are like struggling to just even like, come out and talk something. So you need to know all that to innovate what product you have to create. Okay. So for me, when I did enough of this and I started thinking, like, how do we learn in school? We learn like, little bit of physics, little bit of maths, little bit of biology in every standard. And then the complexity keeps going up, right? We don't read physics for 1 year, then, chemistry for 1 year, maths for 1 year. It wouldn't add up. Like maths will help in physics, physics will help in maths. And there are multiple interrelationships between all these things. So that way, if you have to teach someone digital marketing, how did I learn digital marketing? People like, used to ask me, sir, how did you learn digital marketing? At that time, there were no institutes. I said, like, I learned by doing. I learned by creating a blog for myself. And then it struck me. The idea came because 100-day blogging course karte hain. 100-day blogging course will be like taking them step by step, so that first time they create like a Facebook profile, that's social media basics, and then they come back, write an article, that's content marketing, then they build an email list, that's email marketing, and then slowly they ascend on the complexity rather than trying to do social media marketing separately, email marketing separately, and everything. So this idea would have never come to me unless I was listening to the audience in such a close way, right? So that is why I always recommend creating a community, and if you can get paid for creating that community, then even better. Like, for example, right now discussing with all you people and possible future AlphaClub members, I get like a product idea. Oh, this is the need that I have seen over and over and over again. People have difficulty building landing pages and having CRM as a same tool. Okay, maybe now I have enough money. I could go and invest in a software, which can be a landing page builder and an email marketing tool with an SMS tool, all in the same package. Maybe something like that. Not even getting into it right now, but just as an example. Maybe this is not the biggest pain point. The biggest pain point is something else. The biggest pain point is possibly having someone to call all their leads as soon as they are generated, right? Which seems to be getting more and more clearer to me right now. Like, if I create like a BPO types call center, put well-trained people where the service is that we control your landing page, we drive traffic to your campaigns, but as soon as the lead is generated within 10 minutes, one of the people from our call center will call and do the first touch point, because otherwise the lead will go waste. So if that seems to be actually a bigger need in the market, and maybe that might be an idea for me to build a business around it, right? But the idea will not come like, I can't afford to go ahead and possibly try it out and see how it works. The deeper understanding I have about my customers, the better I will learn. So coming back to your original question, Nitish, looking back after a long winded journey of macro perspective on this, what you need to do is that you need to create at least two tiers of communities. One is a free community, which I think you already have. You have a bunch of people who are like following you, and LinkedIn may you have a lot of following and everything, but start getting people into like a Facebook group. Okay. Even if you want to have a WhatsApp group, that is also fine. And this free community will give you a first layer of understanding. Hey, what is the biggest challenge that people have? And how do I communicate it to them? Right. You are basically, listening to people and using the same words back in the copy. It's, that much easy to replicate this process. If you write a copy which people with words that people are using, like for example, in a certain niche, in a certain category, do people use the word irritating or frustrating? That is the word that comes to the copy, because that's when it will have resonance. So even before you write the copy, to write a copy that resonates with the people who listen to it, you need to listen to them about what is the words that they already used to tell a story to themselves. So when copywriting, they say you are never starting a conversation on people's minds. You are joining a conversation that they already have in mind. So that way, when you look at it, like for example, I was subscribed to the startups.com, and they were sending out a lot of emails related to startups and startup culture and everything. One of the emails caught my attention, and the email subject line was, "Will the anxiety ever go away?" And then that is a question that I have asked myself. Like, is there an end point to it? Is there a way to balance this? You can't like close your business and become a monk, but business is chaos most of the time. So that is a question that I had in my mind already, which I was asking myself. So that particular email subject line joined a conversation I have already had in my mind. That is when it clicks. But to be able to write very good copy that joins a conversation that people have in their mind, you need to let people talk and you need to listen. And it's not just about letting them talk and listening, it's also about probing for the right questions. Like, what are those words that have like an emotional connect with you?